welcome to Unmuted by GosuGamers. This is a show or podcast that focuses on everything esports, including topics and subject matters that we may or may not explore enough in the community. So I'm your host. My name is Freddie, and I'm joined by a few really wonderful human beings right here with me. So why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi guys, I'm Andrea Div, senior news editor at GosuGamers, actually returning after a 3-year stint somewhere else. But I'm super excited to be back and work at this wonderful outlet that actually shaped my path into esports many years ago.
Good to have you back, Dave, really.
Hi, I'm Jared Blandriel. I'm the head of mobile esports at GosuGamers. Once again, much like Andrea, I'm returning after about 3 years. Once again, like her, I started off my esports journey at GosuGamers. So yeah, it's good to be back.
And lastly, we have,
I'm Christy, or Pandora, the Dota 2 lead for GosuGamers, as well as the features editor. And I did not leave GosuGamers, but am still here, but have worked with both Jared and Div in the past at GosuGamers. So it's kind of like a reunion thing. And it's really exciting to be able to move forward with them once again, because we've got new management, new vision, new everything going on, content, and these two were integral in when I first joined GosuGamers. So I'm really excited to be taking these new steps with everybody.
Okay, today we are going to talk about some Dota. Okay, we're going to talk about AniMajor. We're going to talk about the end of DPC season. There are a lot to cover. We're going to discuss, all the, I would say, the important topics, from teams and we may even have some spicy surprise for you guys. So yeah, be sure to listen all the way through to the end. Okay. All right. So to kick things off, why don't we talk about end of the DPC the DPC season? First topic of the day: biggest exclusion from the major. What is your take?
Well, obviously, there are these 3 big teams everyone expected to see at least at one major. Elephant is probably the the biggest disappointment of the DPC as a whole.
I think the
year.
best disappointment probably fits.
Yeah, I mean, okay, you haven't made it to the first major. It was the first run, whatever, you group, bring finally ROTK back and then don't qualify to the second major. What is even that? Then you have Navi and OG, both with roster changes in between seasons. None of them at the AniMajor now.
And both those roster changes were bringing in their a superstar. These roster changes were expected to kind of be there. We're here. This is our big moment to shine. And in both cases, it completely, I wouldn't even say fell short. I'd say fell apart. I mean, it just completely crashed and burned.
I think let's dive into them one by one, right? So I think why don't we just take 2 steps back and look into Elephant, right? What went wrong for Elephant? Was it because of everybody is their own they have their own ego, or maybe RTK couldn't ground them down? What went wrong there with Elephant? Because looking at them, this freaking all-star roster, right? So yeah, what went wrong?
It's been a very long time since we saw an all-star roster actually working. It's probably since Team Decay from China as well, and that's TI 4 times. Looking at this Elephant roster, they did almost the impossible to bring best players. Somnus, maybe, which is maybe Paparazzi Eurus, Young from Vici Gaming, which they had so many problems to secure the contract. And it's hard to see how players that are so well, so good, individually skilled, will work together without a coach, without a guidance. It almost feels like everyone thinks that it knows better.
Yeah, I do agree with you. It does seem to be like a team where each player has amazing individual talent, but putting individual talent in a team where they don't really mesh together kind of seems to not work out. And maybe RGK just can't control that enough, and get the players' mindsets in a more team dynamic. So yeah, it is very unfortunate to not see Elephant progressing, especially after everything they went through with the signings of players and all the drama surrounding them and VG Gaming towards the end of last year, early this year.
All right, so let's move on. Let's now talk about, I would say, OG, right? Everybody expected them to do well with the return of Anna, but no, they're not this major as well. So what? Why? I mean, what is the problem here? Is it because of Anna need more time, or they still need to a little bit more time to adjust to the meta, or what do you guys think?
I was just going to say, I don't know if it's a adjustment problem, adjusting to meta. I also don't know that it can be said that, Anna needed more time to adapt adapt to the team, because it's a team that he's played with multiple times, and it's a team that when he comes back normally is just amazing. I think there's something that maybe it's just OG. Let's look back at Navi after TI3, where they just, even though it was the same team, they just kind of fell apart and couldn't really compete at that high pace anymore. Maybe it's something like that, where they just can't do it anymore, and they might still have the skills and they might still be an amazing team, but when it comes down to what's happening in a game, they kind of fall behind a little bit.
I think there's something also to say that there may not be as much emotional agility to be able to kind of adapt to various things. So for example, we know they took Mid-1 on it, and then when we know when Mid-1 left, Seb even had made a comment about how he kind of just didn't fit, and they have this expectation, even with Sumail, even with, all these people that they take on, they want them to fit into this creation that they have, this family, this idea of who they are and how they play. And I think that, 2 years, everybody kind of knows this, everybody kind of knows who they are, and they're not adapting emotionally, mentally to things. It creates a rigidity, so to speak. And I think that might be part of the problem when you get so tunnel visioned and so stuck in a certain way. It's kind of like at some point it starts to fall apart, because that's not sustainable. It could be as simple as something to that effect. They need kind of a little bit more of a fresh perspective, a little bit of a change up and stuff in how they approach things. They keep going back to what worked, but at some point that doesn't work anymore.
But I'm talking about what worked before. I mean, technically speaking, both time that they won TI, they were kind of in the rough shape initially. They were emotionally distressed, due to different reasons for both TI8 and TI9. Maybe that could be their MO, right? They need to be distressed in order to perform well. I don't know. Yeah, maybe they need to be be put into that particular mental state. Because right now maybe they are too comfortable. I don't know.
I would say based off of the things we've seen on social media, they're pretty stressed. There's definitely an element of distress going on there. They might be funneling it in the wrong place, social media versus in game, but I think the stress is clear. They're feeling it. They've got that pressure. They're feeling it. They're definitely got that squeeze on, and they're reacting. But
yeah.
Another thing that might not work at all for OG is this online season. OG is not a team that performs well in a boot camp, or that performs well at their home at their computer. They need that crowd to feed on their energy, to play in spite of their chanting or because of their chanting. It doesn't matter. As long as the stadium is packed for OG, they feed from that so much, and it sees in the games. they play, and it's also, I think, Seb who said at some point in this season, into some of the winners interviews, that we simply don't work like that. We can't feel it from home, you know. Of course, they will feel it now in the qualifiers, I think.
Yeah,
Feel it or not, you need to qualify.
with the pressure
And
all
thanks for the awesome plug there, Div, on my next feature thing of lands without spectators and how that impacts the mentality of the players and stuff, because that's exactly right. I mean, they thrive off of basically their fans, the energy, even being able to throw their little zingers and their memes out. They feed off of basically the feedback that they get, you know, from all their surroundings. So it's an excellent point.
I remember a very funny thing at TI8. TI8 was held in China, right? And OG PSG LGD Grand Finals, it was 2-1 for LGD. And it was looking like it would be a 3-1 in the grand final. And the crowd, I was in the stadium and I had to ask 100 people around what's happening because I didn't get it. The crowd was chanting, OG go home, OG go home, OG. Yeah. But in Chinese, you know, and guess what happened? OG in the booths, all they hear is OG, right? So it didn't matter that they were actually chanting against them. It was like, okay, we are playing a versus Chinese team and these dudes are chanting OG, let's do it. You know?
That's actually pretty hilarious. Yeah.
It all happened in an online format.
Yeah, it's true. I guess the last 2 years of well, yeah, kind of 2 years of the online things have kind of, oh well, esports in general. You just there's this feeling of it's just plain where you don't have the crowds in the background. You can't even watching on Twitch. Normally you can hear everything in the stadium, and there's just none of that. So that is probably a big factor for a lot of teams, and OG is definitely one of them.
Speaking of fans and community, right? I want to bring this back to the whole online, like all the whole social media kerfuffle that OG had with.
You are brave.
Yeah, I am brave. Of course, I want to talk about it. Yeah, OG had this whole dispute with Secret, right? Do you think something like this, of course, is not healthy, is not positive, is definitely negative, but what does the fans get out of this? Like, do you think that general fans is okay, just another drama, let's feed on this, or like, do you think this is not good at all? What's your personal take on this?
Yeah, for me, it's terrible because fans, look, people crave drama in any fashion, and when it's on social media for everyone to see, it becomes part of the fans, like MO, to just go into it and say their opinion on it. So a lot of the time with OG, from the alliance drama to the Team Secret things, fans literally went on, and you could see them saying OG having a big head about it. They would have lost anyway. Like, it's not like Alliance didn't do anything wrong, and then fans took that to OG can't read, or further and further. So for OG, I think a cooler head would have definitely been the place to go, and them taking it so far on social media definitely soured fans to them a lot.
I think not even just how far they took it, or if they had cooler heads, but I think the bigger thing was people felt they never even apologized. They attacked the players of Alliance personally. They were pretty adamant. I mean, they accused them of being cheaters. They called them pussies. They called, like the vitriol was strong, and it was personal. And then when it came out, there was never even an apology. There was never even okay, we were wrong. Okay, let's make amends. it just kind of was like it went away and then it went right into the next one, with the team secret and the social media stuff, which again comes down to that they're dishing out, right? I mean, OG is chat wheels, fountain diving, all these kinds of things that are basically they are the bad manner team. I mean, their sprays alone are like offended, one of the ones that they submitted was loser, Thompson was always spamming, this, and then they're like, don't you dare say that we were put in the trash and taken out to the dumpster. That's just wrong. What did I do to you? And people are kind of like, where did this come from? And again, no kind of apology, no kind of statement. And I know that in a lot of circles within, some of the communities, people were like, for the first time, I'm rooting that OG doesn't make it, or for the first time, I'm rooting for this team against OG, or I really think OG need to be humbled and not make it this year. These kinds of statements I saw a lot of. That really affects their 2-3 years worth of branding of Sunflowers, sunshine, friendship, feel good team and stuff. It really put a black mark on that branding that they worked so long and so hard to create. And the younger generation, the people that only came around maybe after the last 2 TIs and stuff, this is the OG that they're seeing now. And they're not seeing, the 2 TI historic championship team. They're seeing this instead. And it's damaging. I think it's very damaging, not to mention where's the responsibility for the next generation coming in, for the younger generations of esports, how they present themselves is how other people will reflect and mirror on how they present themselves or think is acceptable and stuff like that. And so I think in all around, it's a really it's disappointing to say the least.
To OG defense, into OG's defense, not that I want to be there, defending a case, but unfortunately, Dota historically has been a very, very toxic community. Forget about this drama right now with the social media, but think about every time that something good happened in Dota, like OG winning twice. The first year, everyone called them, it was a fluke, this is not real, this is... The second year, they won TI, some of the media outlets and some of the teams and some of the players started to trash talk them and suggesting that they were taking Adderall or other things, enhancements, and not recognizing their success at all. Now, when they truly struggle, everyone attacked them pretty hard on social media, because if you look onto this banter with Team Secret, it goes way before the alliance.
True. Yeah.
I mean, so I wonder how much can you take before you retaliate in the way OG did this time, or Seb did, because it was actually 2 or 3 guys from the OG that actually took on Twitter to make some very bad statements, and maybe should have been thought twice before doing that. But yeah, you gotta think that these teams do develop into a toxic community. It is what it is, and I think everyone's mission should be that we have to change that, because no matter what you do, you will end up into situations like this that are absolutely miserable.
Yeah.
But exactly that. I mean, if we're talking about it's a breaking point and we want to change the toxicity, then that starts with how we respond and react and present ourselves on social media. Like, yeah, there's a breaking point, but you know what? I have an off button on my PC. I have a way to not press that send button in my tweet. I mean, sure, my fingers are sometimes like, and then it's like, okay, the tweets that I did not send, like I have a whole list of these kinds of things. But I mean, that's where it starts. It starts with your own responses and reactions. If we're saying it's understandable where this comes from and everything, like, then it is true and it is the toxicity, but they have to start with themselves too in how they're going to respond on the social media thing.
Yes,
I don't have the answers, but
Yeah,
but it's something we need to think about it every time we go into this Facebook, Twitter,
correct.
Instagram, whatever. Think twice before you push that send button.
I mean, it's good to have this sort of discussion, right? Because like every one of us, we always have our own thoughts and sometimes biases as well. It's not always objective or like judgmental whatsoever. So yeah, we always have our own mute or unmute button, like what Christy said. And yeah, a plug to our show as well. Yeah. So yeah, we just have to be careful. Just have to think twice. You know, the world is changing. Everything is evolving. Esports as well. So professionalism and stuff like that is very important, especially when a team like OG is definitely I'm sure they are like a role model to a lot of the younger generation. So yeah, they do have to take that responsibility and yeah, be a little bit more careful, I would say. All right, I guess enough of negativity. Let's move on to something brighter.
But wait.
Yep. Okay, well,
We
go
do
on, yeah.
have one more to address, but it
Yes.
falls in the negativity, unfortunately.
Go ahead.
which is
Let's address all the negativity. Let's just get it all out our system.
Navi.
Oh yeah.
Navi was our third team.
Yes.
That's not. And again, not quite so positive in the way that everything was handled or delivered and everything. Unfortunately, I think, we had what? Always want to fly. They kicked general, right? And that wasn't handled so well, again, social media things. Then Navi puts out this video, always want to fly, looked like he was going to like just completely jump through the screen and attack someone, and poor V-Tune sitting there looking like the most uncomfortable experience of his life, basically saying, we did it because of these, tensions, these disagreements, these kinds of issues and everything. And then, whoa, 2 months later, the guy that always want to fly kicked a player for in maybe not the best of manner, then kicks him, and the Navi kicks 2 players, and then poaches 2 players from Gambit who are heading to the major, who refuse to even play in the major then, so that they can go start training already with Navi and everything. And it's just so ugly. It's just, again, what kind of messages are we sending to the next generation? Your teammates don't matter, your commitments don't matter, we only want superstar names. We don't care who you are, the messages that are being sent, the way that these things are being handled. Where are the contracts? Where is commitment? Where is, where are your values just even, Gambit's going to not only go in taking what, probably 2 40% point deductions for just the event itself. How many points are you even going to walk out of, even if you got first place? It's going to be like, what, 5 points? Then they also get the point deductions for the roster changes, things like this, and how do you pick yourself up from that and stuff? And what does that say? There's no reason they couldn't have at least even just played through into the major, at least done the right thing, played through the major. Maybe they wouldn't have gone far, but at least they would have gotten more points. They would have done the right thing, all these kinds of stuff. Now, instead, I wonder how many people are going to even be rooting for Navi.
The thing is, like, for both Noan and Soneko, they didn't even need to travel far. They just right in their backyard. Why can't they just go through, just play, finish, just complete the major, and regardless of the results, and then announce their departure? I don't understand. I don't get it.
A pretty good guess would be that the TI qualifiers will come a week or maximum 2 after the major, so they need as much time as they could with Navi for the TI qualifiers practice. But as Pandora pointed out, what seems so wrong in this matter is, where are the contracts? How a player can be able to leave a team after it qualified to the major? I don't know. I think in any normal or decent context, these players have a contract until after TI, right? Or something around that.
You would think
so. You would think so. Also, how many times Soneko went and left from Navi by now? It's like, what? Again? Here we go again?
The other
Yeah,
factor,
3 times. Yeah. Yeah,
I think
Jared,
the
go ahead. Yeah.
other factor is when do Valve actually have to sit down and say, well, hold on, why are we taking points away from Gambit when, this is not their fault? And I think it's kind of unfair to Gambit that Valve haven't said, look, you're not going to get a points deduction, or you're going to get 1 point deduction for just one player and not for both. And I think that comes down to that as well. Why haven't they said anything at all about this? I say, knowing that Valve have never said anything about half the things in Dota a lot of the time.
Yeah, good luck reaching out to Valve on this, but yeah.
Well, remember when Fnatic had
The
Era?
pizza party?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
The pizza party. I remember that clearly.
but you had Era and Excalibur situation, and then Valve came
Yeah.
in and said, you will be playing with Era
Yeah.
at TI, and tough luck that you want to go cry. This is who you're playing with, this is what you're going to do. And they got involved, they did something. Why don't they say to Seneko, hey, and no one, you guys want to play? You want to play Dota? You want to come to TI? Fine, but finish out your contract. Finish out and play with the rest of your freaking team. And, where's your sportsmanship? Then we'll reward you for it. But now we're going to punish Gambit instead.
No, it's
guess
strange
that-
because I
continue.
think to your point, what Valve should have done is tell Navi, hey, play your games with these dudes that you sign. That's on Eco, and no one wanted to leave Navi, fine. Leave Gambit, fine. Because what Valve did back then was to make sure that Era is actually playing that TI with his team that he qualified with, And if I remember correctly, back then it was a health issue for Era that prevented him
Yeah.
prior TI
Yeah.
to join the boot camp, and that's why he got kicked from the team. But in the end, he was fine until TI time came. This time it's Navi who kicks 2 players and say he didn't play.
Sorry, good luck. Yeah, sorry
Yeah,
guys.
and I just saw yesterday Iceberg actually commentating to some Russian media saying, have you ever been fired from a job you didn't want to work? For the last 2 weeks for the last 2 weeks on the team, I wanted to be kicked. As you can see, I have achieved my goal. It makes you wonder what's going on in these boot camps. Are the boot camps actually helping these players? It's strange.
Well, that was like, there was that whole speculation, is Navi engaged in match fixing and throwing matches 322
That too, yeah.
because, Roger was behaving a certain way, which is unfortunately something we've seen often when players don't want to play with the rest of the team, or things go sour in the communications of a game. They're like, I'm done. I just want out. Here's my items. I'm going to destroy them. I'm just going to throw it. Let's end this game, and that's how they behave. But again, we're going back to where is our responsibility for what we're showing other people, that toxicity, that sportsmanship. I mean, these things all basically tie back into the professionalism, into the, responsibilities that we have to our teammates, to our organizations, to our fans, and to the future generation. Again, different, but the same examples.
I think with that, we should move on. We should finally talk about something a bit brighter than all this negativity. So yeah, let's talk about the AniMajor. A major with an anime team. Yeah, how awesome can that be, right? Okay, we're gonna go through the different seeds. So we're gonna go through the wildcards first, and I want you all to tell me what are your picks in regards to like which team you'll be spawning or the standout. So let's start with the wildcards. We have Team Enigma, we have Team Secret, we have BG Gaming, Invictus Gaming, we have Execution, as well as Gambit that we just mentioned. Yeah, so which team do you think will have the highest chance of like progressing to the next stage?
I will pick BG Gaming and Nigma this time around because Invictus Gaming are coming with a stand-in, with their coach standing in, and they are already secured for TI, and I don't think they will be in the same shape as they were at the previous major. Then you have Gambit, which
Yeah.
I'm very sorry for them, but this is not the event. Execration were, to me, were the biggest surprise almost from Southeast Asia. Awesome place, but again, I think a bit
It's gonna be tough for them, right?
yeah. And then Team Secret, they looked strange in this DPC season, not giving their all for sure.
I guess they're in the same
I don't know.
position as Invictus Gaming, right? Where they're already qualified for TI. So they're in real, I mean, they're not in any rush to really prove themselves or like push more points. Jared, what's your pick?
Yeah, I got like Vici Gaming is easily my top pick to go through from the wildcards. I do want to say Secrets as my secondary team because it's still Team Secrets, and even when they are, you know, just messing around and playing, they're still one of the top teams. I guess Enigma are also there, but I think I don't know. Maybe Enigma are just gonna put in everything that they can into this and not really hold anything back essentially, while you know then there's Secret who might just be very blasé about it and just go with the flow, like you said, because they have qualified. But I still think that it's going to be Vici Gaming Secret that go through. Like you guys said, Invictus Gaming are not really a team that are going to worry too much. They're going to TI. Unfortunately for Gambit, they probably have no chance unless you know these two players that they have playing absolutely shine out and destroy everyone, which would be really fun to see. I'd also really love to see Execration do the same thing, but unlikely, unfortunately. It's way too stacked, I think, when you have the likes of Nigma, Secret, Vici Gaming, and Invictus Gaming, and you're not really gonna be doing much except for causing a huge upset.
Yeah. Christy? Yeah.
Well, it is the AniMajor, right? So what's more exciting and anime-like than if Gambit do come back and are able to kind of cruise through, make
anime
it through with
comeback,
their two
yeah.
things? I mean, that would just be like the storyline of storylines, you know? It would just be fitting. It would almost be like it was scripted right into the narrative of it, you know? It'd be perfect.
I would
But
love that, yeah.
and hey, you know, plot twist, it was done on purpose, exactly like this. No, but you know, the thing is that I agree. Vici Gaming, China, I think, you know, they're still in top form. I think they're going to be for this event as well. Team Secret, I can't imagine that they don't show up, you know, especially just in a wild card. It just would seem, you know, kind of, I think that, you know, Puppy can't allow that to happen, them just to kind of bomb out in the wild cards, whether they have enough points already or not. You just don't go out like that, you know?
Yeah.
And I think also Nigma, I feel like OG broke Nigma at TI, and that roster, that team, they just have been so lackluster since, you know, it just falls flat. There's just something missing, the spirit, the soul, something, you know, is just not quite right. So I have a hard time seeing that they would get through as much as I'd like to see, but because I do think that these kinds of things would make Europe an incredibly contentious qualifier for the last spot at TI then, you know,
True.
because they would, you know, but I just don't see that they'll be able to do anything just like they didn't really do anything this whole season, last season, you know, like it's just falling. So.
Well, for Nigma, what do you think of like, you know, the fit of ILTW? Do you think he fits well with them? Because, you know, he's arguably the latest edition, you know, WePlay Shueisha.
It's hard to, it's hard to actually assess their his contribution right now He just played this DPC league where you have a full week to prepare for your opponent. You know exactly what you'll do. They play to his strengths. All this DPC league, he played his heroes and everything. The major is a kind of different. It's a different beast where you play two or three BO2s a day, and I think this is where you'll find out if he's a perfect fit for this team, because they will not have too much time to prepare for each adversary. They will have to go on to the momentum and onto a quick adaptation to what happened in the previous game or in the previous series.
Well, I mean, at the very least, a good point for Team Nigma would be that they are not playing with a stand-in this time round. Yeah, because during Singapore, they had to play with the code. So yeah, that was really horrible for them. It turned out not as expected for them. But at the very least, for this any major, they won't have the full roster.
They'll have the full roster, and I think the big plus, I mean, the most important thing that happened to them through this shuffle is that Miracle is back mid. I guess this is where they will put all their hopes in this major as well. And it's not only up to ILTV to carry this team to victory. I think they have more chances with someone that it's strong or constant player on his role. ILTV is not by any means underperforming or anything. He didn't fit with OG. Hello, we talked about that, but I think he's very, very skilled and very good in his role. And knowing that you have someone that you can rely on safe lane and on the mid lane with Miracle, it will change something for Nigma. That's why I picked them to actually make it out of this wild card.
Yeah, I'm personally rooting for Nigma and VG Gaming. So yeah, I do hope to see them in the next stage as well. So speaking of next stage, let's talk about the group stage seeds. We have Team Liquid, PSG LGD, we have TNC Predator, we have Team Spirit, Evo Genesis, as well as Beast Coast. So the standouts, like your pick, the one team that you'll be supporting. I know it's unfair because it's very stacked. It's difficult to choose. We spoke about this before. It's so difficult to even find a favorite here because everyone has their own strengths and their reasons to perform well. But yeah, if you have to choose one team, what would it be and why?
If you have to choose just one team, keep in mind that actually top two teams in the group stage will advance to the upper bracket playoffs. Yep. So there would be two teams
so
there.
Can we have two?
Two. Let's go with two. Your two picks, your two favorite picks. Yeah.
I believe Team Liquid and PSG LGD will be the top two. The question for me is who will be the bottom two teams? Because this is an incredibly stacked group stage. Who are the two teams that
they'll be eliminated?
Yeah, that's a hard one for me.
Okay. Jared, your take on this? Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, definitely Team Liquid are my top pick to come through. I do want to say LGD as well, but at the same time, you're looking at Evil Geniuses and TNC there too. It's like we've said a lot already. It is completely stacked. There's the teams that you're looking at in this group, even Team Spirits and Beast Coast are doing extremely well and they're playing amazingly. So chances for upsets are high, but I think I still have to stick with LGD and Team Liquid in this. They're just amazing, especially with Sumail now on Liquid. There's just that team is going places, and they're such a great team, and I think that it would be upsetting to not see them moving up.
How about you, Christy?
I love Liquid. Most of the team are my boys. I worked with 3 out of 5 of them as a team, as a manager and everything when it was Tuho and everything. They're really fantastic people, let alone players, their drive, their commitment, things like that. So I always, Team Liquid. That said, I don't know. for some reason, when it comes to the push comes to shove, Team Liquid always seem to just miss that a little bit, just miss that mark, just miss that being able to grasp it. It's like it's just in their reach and it's just out of their reach. I don't know how much the dynamics will change with Sumail. Uh, you know, it's going to be interesting to see. I hope it gives them what they need to be able to finally grab on and hold it, but I'm just not 100% sure, because I'm not so sure that it was Boxy. Boxy did a lot for them. It's not necessarily like, oh, well, this is a replacement of a weaker player or, something that didn't fit right. I mean, they as a 5 were always tight, and Boxy was a key factor in that. So I don't know that this will be the thing for them or not that'll help it. I hope so. That said, I think Evil Geniuses have a better chance. There's of being able to get through, of being able to perform when they need to, and to stand out and to be able to do that. And again, China, I think that it's going to be LGD. I think, China is going to still be on top once again. So I think they'll be able to get through, and that won't be much of an area of contention for them. I think they'll be at the top there.
Okay. As for
But
me,
I think.
Yes, go ahead. Yeah, Christy. Yeah.
No, I was going to say, but I think the one team that I would be shocked if they did make it through will be Team Spirit, because although they had an amazing showing in their region, I'm not sure how that will translate internationally and stuff, but they did amazing. It would be great to see it happen, but I just don't, I think they're the one team that I would say will not make it through.
Okay. As for me, I'm definitely rooting. Go ahead, Div. Yeah. Yeah.
I was just about to go back to imagine if this major had a crowd, because it's in Kiev, it's on Team Spirit's home soil. We would have had a different discussion right now about Team Spirit's chances to deliver the big upsets.
And even true. Gambit. And even Gambit then having that maybe fuel them.
Yeah.
But yeah, your picks, Freddy?
My pick definitely will be I don't think on paper they're not the strongest, but I do want to root for Beast Coast. I love myself some like South America Dota. I mean, with the precedent of having like Thunder Predator, did so well in the last major. Of course, I think everyone would kind of like want to put their money on like on Beast Coast to be the next Thunder Predator, if not no ping in the playoff seeds, right? But for me, I've been paying attention to like Beast Coast plays for the last few weeks as well. This is a bit of my own research, and I think I really like the way they play. And yeah, it's about time, for they've always been really well, as in the players themselves, they've always been like, representing SAs for a couple of years already, in regards to on TI stage and also on. So I think they should be able to do well in any major as well.
There will be 6 teams advancing. So what we pick now is just the upper bracket teams.
Yeah. I feel like if we have to choose 2 teams to that might not do so well, unfortunately I would say TNC Predator. Although they're from the same region as I do, I just feel like sometimes SEA Dota is very it's very hard to predict. Yes, sometimes they're very good, but sometimes they're also very bad. They're very unpredictable at the same time, very volatile. It depends on like the setting and all that. Like because in Singapore for OB Neon last time they were in Singapore, literally just same climate and all that. But will TNC be able to adapt to like I don't know the weather in Kiev and all that? I'm not sure.
Well, the good part is that everyone arrived at the major at least a week before the games, or even 2 for some of the teams that are at group stage playoffs. But it's interesting to me, and I seem like I can't really get a straight answer to this. What happened in Southeast Asia and why they are so inconsistent? Because they have the players, they have the names, Not seeing Fnatic at this major is like, what? Why? They wants to go to the playoffs now. I will take a bit of head of you, go a bit of head to see T1 in the playoff is such a surprise for me, although I watched their progress through this season and through this DPC year, where they actually rebooted their team with March in the coaching position. And I'm still amazed and shocked to see them in the playoffs, you know, although I know they worked a lot for it.
Yeah, I mean, the inclusion of 23 Savages to that team, I mean, I assume that would be a huge boost. I didn't think it would be this much of a boost to the team. Yes, 23 Savages is a really amazing player, but I didn't think that we'd ever see T1 actually performing in this manner. It's good to see, but again, where's Raven, DJ, Jabs, that Fnatic team? Not seeing them is huge. Like, you're completely right, Dev. It's really strange not to see those names at a major.
Yeah, where is Standard Predator? Not Standard Predator. I mean, the major is over. For the next 2-3 days, you think about, wow, these two teams, Standard Predator and Opinion. What an amazing story. Where these players were until now. The new season starts and they fail to qualify.
It's nowhere. Yeah.
Well, that's Dota for you.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I get it. It was a new patch. People had to adapt to learn, but the difference. I mean, the difference in results and in play is too big in too short of a window. You know, the drop of form or.
Right. Like in most of the other regions, you have your standard, we're going to see these teams perform at this level, but Southeast Asia is definitely almost like a crapshoot. You just don't know who is going to go where or what at the beginning of the season. If you had to take a fantasy team, team for the region, or if you had to, base your predictions, you might as well just be pulling out of a hat in Southeast Asia, where at least almost all of your other regions, no ping came up out of nowhere in a sense in South America, but you still had Thunder Predator and Beast Coast at the top, even if you have a team that rises up for some reason, various things could be in play there that, they finally got a boot camp where they made a one player roster change or something like that. Sure. Okay. That happens. It wouldn't be fun if it was always the same teams, but yeah, exactly. You have stability with that. And in Southeast Asia, it's a free for all.
I guess it's always been that way for Southeast Asia, though.
For a long time. For a long time. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, even looking back to, I'm going to bring up Mineski because Mineski were one of my absolutely favorite teams ever. And, suddenly they just fall away. And then, then you see the rise of, say, Fnatic, and then they somehow fall away, and TNC rises and TNC fall away. And then you get the smaller teams coming up, and somewhere in that there has to be a reason for things changing so much in the SEA, but it just can't be pinpointed.
Well, if anything, I would just blame the weather. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what else to say, because like I'm in this region, and that's all I see every season. Some like it's so unpredictable. It's very hard to even put a standard or a benchmark, because these just keep changing.
Yeah, I didn't even bring up Geek Fam in that either.
Correct.
Well, and what about, Team SMG on paper was like, wow, this is going to be
amazing.
Yeah, and where are they?
Mid one, KP and Mushi, but he's out of the team now, so yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's talk about the final category, the playoff seats. Let's wrap things up. So we have Alliance, we have Team Esther, we have T1 that I mentioned earlier, we have Virtus Pro, Quincy Crew, as well as No Ping. Yeah, any team here that stands out to you? Yeah.
Well, I just said that to me it's almost incredible that T1 are here. But to be honest, and to no one's offense in these playoffs, but I don't think the major champion will be decided or the major champion will be from these teams. I think the champion will come from lower stages, from group stage or even wild card. Yes. I do want to see how Quincy will do at this major because it's their first with their full team, and again, this is a team that works so much for their placement here, and I think they want to show that they do belong to super high or top tier rankings. Alliance, again, they come after a drama, and I think they want to show that you can win with 5-man Dota. But it's hard. It's hard. Again, I think the winner will come from group stages.
Yeah, I like that.
I do think that Alliance have a really good shot. I think PPD might be an incredibly controversial figure, especially in NA Dota, but he's an amazing drafter. He gets the strategy, he has the game insight, the map awareness, all of these kinds of things. And I think that adding that element into the coaching aspect for the team, along with, you do have Loda, you have S4, you know, you have these players that have an incredible amount of experience, and aggressive players such as Nico Baby. I mean, I think you're really creating something here by adding PPD to that mix that I think did bring them to the next level, whether he was in the game or not in the game, you know, at the time. And I think that showed, you know, and they still had time, boot camp, they still had time to prepare. He still had time to get his, you know, to ingrain some of these things into them. And I think that they have a huge potential to be able to progress pretty far into these brackets. Although I do agree with Div, I think that our championship team is probably going to be from the group stage, because when I look at on paper, the group stage and the playoff teams, and we've said this before, it's almost like they're swapped with what you expected to see. You know,
There's like a typo somewhere, some error, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that, you know, your team that is going to come through the playoff stage, the group stage into the playoffs, is going to be the one we're just going to see go to the end and take the title, but we'll see.
Yeah, every time I look at the brackets or at the teams qualified, I look and I have to take a second look all the time. My brain is still not used to see these teams in this, you know, that it's crazy. Even seeing Secret in the wild card is like, or Invictus Gaming. It feels like a reverse pyramid, you know.
Yeah, what went wrong there? Yeah.
Yeah, you get so used to seeing like certain teams' logos, and then now there's this. I think for me, Alliance is definitely like my favorite team in the playoffs, without fail. I absolutely love Nico Baby and his playstyle. PPD being their coach now is weird, but also wonderful. I think the team I'd like to see do well is Virtus Pro, because it's that young team that came up from VP Prodigy late last year, and then, you know, beat OG in Epic League towards the end of the year, and then they just faded away somehow. Like something happened again, and the team just didn't perform anymore. Like they haven't done terribly, but they haven't done well either. And you know, you have GPK on the team. You have Epileptic. Yeah, he's now Nightfall. That's correct. Yeah, sorry. You have a great team, and you're also a great team that made it to playoffs. So if they do fall off, it's going to be surprising, but also at the same time unsurprising, considering the competition around them.
It's
and again, Virtus Pro. I was going to say, and again, the audience factor would have really been something else, because once again, it's another local
team
who would have benefited from the local
young team as
field
well.
advantage.
Yeah, it's the youngest team at this major. I mean, their players' age is around 20, everyone, right? So the oldest player is 21, actually, or 20. And this is their last chance to actually prove or not prove, but feel good about themselves going into TI, knowing that they actually beat some international big names. Because until now, they are 7-0 in their CIS league. Okay, you can beat Navi, you can beat Gambit and everything else in your region, but the last major didn't go well, although they started in the playoffs. And this time, I do truly hope that it will go better for them, just on 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 their morale, you know, going into TI, because they are qualified to TI.
Okay, what do you guys think of like this major format, right? You know, like where we for the playoff teams, they only get to play a few games and they have no warm up versus like wildcard teams that have to play like what 24 games. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
To begin with, we might need to make this clear for everyone that probably is not super into how tournaments formats are made. This is a format actually proposed by Valve or implied by Valve. It's not WePlay's or at the previous major PGL and One Esports idea to have this format. They just do whatever Valve format says it has to be done. And yes, I personally don't like it at all because there is too much warm up for the wild card and group stage teams coming into the playoffs. The playoffs team start with no games played, and as you saw at Singapore Major, with jet lag and everything on them because they arrived only 48 hours before their games. While the people, the teams that join from the group stage, they have 20 something games in their hands. They already know what the tournament meta is. They already made all the adjustments to whatever strategy they came with. And the playoffs teams, they just hope that whatever they practice in those few days before the playoffs will work.
Yeah.
I suppose it's a way for Valve to kind of justify and reward their league system, right? You know, you have to have a way to be able to say, well, you did first in the seed in your league, so here's your reward, here's your present, you know, and I guess like this was the best they could come up with or something. But I'm assuming that it must be from something to this, because it doesn't have to do with anything like sponsorships, that the sponsors want to see this or not. It doesn't have to do with time frames in terms of, well, we have to squeeze this all in 1 week, you know, because hotels or venues or things like that, because this was determined even before anybody knew what was going to happen in terms of the season and who could attend, not attend, where would it be held, things like that. I'm assuming it just has to do with the league, you know, justifying things from the league. Although what I would like to see is I would like to see a lot more points given for the major itself and less for the league, and maybe make everybody scramble and fight for those points a lot more in the actual major. I think that would make things a bit more interesting, put everybody into maybe a group stage and just a wild card, and give a lot more points for those that progress further or something in the major versus in the leagues. That's just something I think I'd like to see better, but I guess Valve will probably make some kind of adjustments, but I'm not sure it'll be ones we like.
Yeah, because right now, I will talk again about Virtus Pro, who did exceptionally well in their leagues 2 seasons. They were top team season 1, top team season 2, 1,000 points only from that, and then they been eliminated in the first major with 2 losses in a row, right? So they did basically nothing at the major, and they are still qualified to TI, opposed to some of the teams who, like PSG LGD, for instance, they fought through that wild card, then the group stage, then the playoffs. They reached 3rd place at the major, and here they are at the 2nd major, still fighting for a ticket for TI because they don't have enough points after so many games played.
It kind of makes you wonder how important is the major, right? Aside from you're able to like see the top teams from every region, but aside from that, I mean, Christy, you're right. Like the points are so little, it almost doesn't even matter. Yeah.
It almost makes it seem like, you know, Valve definitely tried to put more importance on the leagues than anything else and try to highlight that. And maybe that has to do with because it was the first time and they needed buy-in from the fans and the teams to support that we're doing the leagues or something. And so maybe that, was done on purpose or something for that effect. But the league definitely feels almost more important. I mean, we saw last season Thunder Predator, right? They got all the way through and they got through the wild card and then we're like, here's your reward. You're going to play against Team Secret, and get no points and get this and this, like, and there's definitely an element of the major isn't nearly as important for the teams as the leagues are and everything in terms of TI points, DPC points, qualifying and everything. I mean, and you even have look at poor Team Liquid with their stand-ins now and everything else. I mean, even if they took first place at this event, they still aren't even going to qualify for, a TI invite potentially with the 40% deduction. And yet they could have, and potentially take first place and still not even qualify to be a TI invite.
Okay, speaking of WePlay, we're gonna go into a quick segment where we actually have a recorded interview session with the co-founder and managing partner of WePlay Esports, Mr. Yura Lazebnikov. I hope I pronounced that correctly remotely somehow. But yeah, so let's take a look at the interview.
Hello, Yura, and thanks so much for taking the time to actually come to this first podcast of GosuGamers Unmuted. We are literally a few hours before the major, and I can't imagine how busy you must be. And if we are so excited and at the same time nervous about how this is gonna look, I can't imagine how it's for you. And I would like to start this interview with the major because everyone is thinking about it. And just tell me, because all Dota fans are by now super used with who is WePlay and how awesome you guys are and how awesome your events look. Just tell me how hard it was for you to actually organize a major during the pandemic.
Thank you for meeting. Nice to meet you. If I will jump in this question directly, maybe the hardest part, it's terms, because we've got a permission from Valve to conduct the major just 2 months ago. And we had a pretty tough schedule to organize everything. It's a huge event, and all this background that happened around us on the planet doesn't help us a lot, I think we will create the most excited event we ever done before, including minor and all other Dota and Counter-Strike event we made before this major. Of course, it's sad that we don't have opportunity to invite real visitors, on the venue, but you can be sure that we will use it 100% all available space to excite everyone during the broadcast.
I see. You actually set the bar very high for yourself, including with the Bukovel minor, which was the most watched minor in history. And I imagine that you'll hit. You have your plans for the major as well in terms of viewership. But before we go into that, I'd like to actually talk to you a bit because you already encounter a big issue with this major, and I'm talking about China teams that had to be brought to the major with a private flight. And that's something that, of course, kept the tagline and the headline for a while. Can you explain a bit to us and to the viewers who are probably not aware why that happened and why they couldn't arrive normally in Ukraine?
Because they got a problem with the connection flight, if I remember right, in Minsk in Belarus. And for us, it was not a problem. It was not any obstacle. It was just a goal we have to sort out in any way. And we made a pretty obvious decision to order a charter round trip flight from China to Kiev in both way. And it was only maybe the minor part of all obstacles we have to solve during the preparation to this major. And it's pretty obvious if you have to get these players and team on the spot and there are no any possibility to buy the regular tickets with the airlines. Of course, we ordered a charter flight. It was not a business jet. It was not some fancy Gulfstream or something like this. Yeah, but it was a charter flight created especially by the order of WePlay, dedicated to the Chinese players team to bring them on the spot.
I gotta admit, I panicked when I saw the first time I heard about the news. It was from Xiao8 from LGD, who posted something on Weibo. It was like, JJ, it's done, China can't get to this major. And I was like, what? And I think it was literally 2 hours later, you guys posting all teams are coming with this private flight.
No, it was not. It was not our idea to cancel a flight and create this background. Yeah, to cancel this flight with the regular airlines. No, we just trying to react on the situation in the most fastest way it's possible. And I told you our main goal is to create the best major ever any other company in the industry created before, and we ready to remove any walls, any obstacles that we find on our way to it. Yeah, and it's only one of the minor issue we get rid of, and I think all internal kitchen, all problems with discipline, with organizing this dozens and dozens, not dozens, it's hundreds of different people we have to gather on the spot on the major. We have to solve hundreds questions. I can't call it a problems. Yes, 100 questions every day, and then not less succeed way we did it with this charter flight.
All right. Jared here actually bumped messaged me earlier in the morning saying, "Hey, Div, did you see this Reddit thread about what WePlay is kind of planning to do with the viewership?" And I will let him actually talk about that more with you.
Hey, Yura. Nice to meet you, first of all. Let's start with this. So since we obviously have this major coming, how do you guys at WePlay land on the theme that you have? Obviously, it's a huge theme. But what made you guys go with anime as a theme?
It happened even before the pandemic starts. We sent our proposal to Valve with few different themes, and anime was only one of them. I don't want to mention other one because it's still under development, and I hope and I'm confident that our audience will have chance to enjoy different themes as well. But we sent this proposal with Anime Major to Valve. I'm not sure, but it definitely was before the March of 2020, before all this crazy stuff started with the pandemic around the planet. And it was before Valve launched this anime content on the Netflix about the Dota 2. And of course, Valve got success with all this content for the audience. And it's pretty obvious that they decided to choose an anime theme, like maybe some next step in development of this TV show and series. And looks like we got a target with our team.
Awesome. So then let's get on to the Reddit thread that we saw this morning, which spoke about basically stretch goals on the streams. Can you maybe expand on this a little bit? How you guys are gonna put this into play and what exactly it might entail?
We tried already this approach. Maybe you remember during our WePlay charity event last year, We Save. And of course, I can't unveil all details to keep interest of the audience during the stream, but everyone will be like a participant of the milestones and goals that we can achieve together during the major broadcasting. And we will open and unveil some gifts from WePlay, some special activities, some special type of content, we will be happy to present to our audience, because we have a huge goal to beat all records of the event created before, not from the quantity point of view, but from the quality as well.
Are you aiming to beat the TI viewership or just the majors in general?
It's pretty ambitious, yeah. We will focus on beat the TI figures. For now, it's not. It's only about the major figures, but we go. You know, we go to big thing, yeah. And if we will succeed, yeah, I hope we can achieve it. And maybe from the quantity point of view, it's pretty hard, but from the quality point of view, you can be confident we will do our best to create maybe the most exciting event in the Dota 2 ever created before.
So yes, you guys really want to expand esports around the world globally, obviously. So starting with your Kiev arena, obviously you want to get more arenas globally. What's it looking like on a development map? How are you guys on that front?
Maybe you saw our development map about the arenas. And of course, we started with our native region in Kiev in Ukraine. The next one, pretty soon, I think maybe in few months, we will launch our Californian arena in Los Angeles. The next one will be, I think, Brazil arena. We will expand our presence in the United States with different arenas and studio and esports cafes in the United States in different states. Of course, we have a huge plans on the Asian market, on China, and other countries located in Southeast Asia. And not only we believe, you know, in the real estate business, we believe in the esports industry expanding, and we invest and we trying to grow faster than the industry growth on the in the world and on the planet. We have our different strategy ideas dedicated to each region. Of course, the United States is pretty specific region, yeah, with different fans and the games, like in European Union, Latin America, and Asia. And we trying to implement these all ideas in the kind of our arenas we trying to build in this region. And all arenas this will be fulfilled by all our lovely technology, like augmented reality, modern cameras, and etc., etc. But some different disciplines popular in the regions usually put some you know, some specific feature we have to have in our mind when we're trying to create these arenas in the specific region.
Yeah, we watched it, we loved it. Good job on that. And to come back to a bit to this major, I can't really get enough with excitement about this. I want to talk to you about something that you are planning to launch. It's the WePlay Collectibles NFTs. This is something that actually exploded very recently around the world, and I saw just a few organizations in esports actually getting their hands or their you know, brand into it. Can you talk a bit about it, and what should we expect about these NFTs? Are they only major related? Are they Dota only themed? I mean, what's the first step with them?
Thank you for the question. No, it's not only Dota 2 or major related, and does it related to major at all, or especially to Dota 2? It's called like a WePlay Collectibles, and what it really is, yeah, it's non-fungible tokens, which link to the WePlay events, including the major fightings, Counter-Strike, Valorant, doesn't matter. Any kind of events we created before and will create in the future. It's our way to use the new tool to collaborate with our audience. You know that NFT is a super trendy industry for now. I think maybe one of the two most trendy industries, esports and the blockchain. Yeah, it's not only about the cryptocurrency, it's about the blockchain technology and how we can transfer our familiar assets like some paintings, some jewelry, and etc. to a digital world. Yeah, and of course, like esports, it's some kind of a digital sport that can be broadcasted, and the participant can use internet, computer to be the part of this industry. NFT, it's like a digital vision of the merchandise of some assets we can share with our audience. We created a lot of crazy moments in our history, like funniest one, like a coolest one, like a Cybertruck on the last our LAN event, yeah, with the Mad Moon before the COVID start, some funny jokes, some moments, highlights, a lot of backstages that audience never seen before, and we will happy to share all this content via the NFTs. And yeah, we will start soon. Next week, we will make an announcement where it will be available to get the date when it will be available to start the sales, and etc. etc. I think everything will be happened or during the major or after the major in 1 or 2 weeks after this. And yeah, and it will be pretty soon, you can be sure. Yeah. And let's see, it's not a pretty standard approach to create an NFT, like, okay, let's create some digital sword or some digital sneaker or something like this. We really want to share our story and our emotions and the part of our team really and our ideas and our creation with our audience, maybe not very standard way. It will be a little bit different NFTs than usually everyone seen before. Let's see what happens with this.
Just one last question, two last questions about this. One is if, let's say because I wasn't at Mad Moon and I am very sad about that, if I want to actually purchase a Mood Cybertruck NFT, would it be that possible? Can you give us a small sneak peek into?
It's not very small.
In your plan?
I can just answer you simple yes, it will be possible.
All right, that's all I need to know. Of course, these NFTs that you are launching right now are already created probably, or you are already having your artists working on them. But in the future, are you open to actually receive collaborations or people to send you their portfolios, hoping that they will get to work with you guys?
Of course, for now, we launched the project of NFT like the storyline of WePlay. But of course, be absolutely ready to expand our ideas to the story of the esport industry. And everyone is super welcome to share the ideas and to be part of the team, or like create something interesting and use our platform like a platform to distribute the masterpiece someone trying to create. All our contents available online, and not in the future we're available for the collaboration right now. If someone has good ideas and addicted to esport and trying to create something awesome, we're absolutely ready to do something together and help with our infrastructure, with our development, with our designers, to spread the good ideas and the good assets with our audience.
All right, you heard it, guys. Send Yura's all your awesome ideas about esports and how WePlay fits into this big scene, actually. To close this interview, I would like to go back again to the major.
Yeah.
It's just a few hours before the major, and I can't keep myself from asking because Omega League actually delivered a nice joke and something that you guys work on, a new hero, because of course we didn't have TI this year, and we kind of missed the fact that at every TI a new hero is announced. You announced one at Omega League, but are you planning to announce something? Yeah, are you planning to announce something like that, or to create something special like that at this major as well? Perhaps an anime hero joining Dota 2?
There are not only one creative thing we're ready to share with the audience. Just be prepared. Yeah, watch the stream, and I think something crazy will happen every day, and you just have to catch this moment. And of course, you will have a chance then to be part of it with our new NFT platform, like a future announcement. Yeah, there are a lot of crazy things we already created, and we will be happy to share with our lovely audience.
All right, Yura, again, thanks a lot for talking to us today. Good luck with this major, and I hope to see WePlay doing more and more awesome events, not only for Dota, because you are absolutely great doing CSGO as well. Flashpoint just finished, and we enjoyed that too.
Thank you.
So thank you very much for coming today.
Thank you so much.
And
thank you, guys.
And talk to you sometime soon.
Okay, now we're back here. Thank you, Yura, for all the wonderful stuff. So now, for ourselves, let's talk about some expectation, right? Let's talk about, aside from the teams, aside from the players, let's talk about AniMajor. Let's talk about WePlay. Okay, production expectation. Is this gonna be the best major ever, or might it like somehow disappoint you? I don't know. Yeah, what do you guys think?
Well, WePlay is the tournament organizer that gave us the best minor and the most viewed minor all time. And the expectation for this AniMajor, at least for me, it's over the roof. I mean, I'm almost afraid that I will be disappointed only because my expectation is so high, you know? I mean, WePlay kind of spoiled the viewership, the players, everyone in the scene all the time. I can't wait for this major.
Yeah,
well, and come on, we've already
major, right?
seen.
Yeah,
well, we've already seen they flew China in on a private jet with Tiny Airlines, you know, like because of the issue that they had with the flights in the airspace and all the different bookings and everything. And if you follow their social media, you've seen the precautions and the things that they've set up to take in terms of the players' safety and health and coronavirus, all of the checks and balances that they have in place to make sure that everybody is in a safe environment. And they have their own theater, which we've seen how incredible they are able to marry both the stage production wise with the AR technology for the viewers at home and what they're able to produce in that. So it's top.
Yeah, and they have the experience of with like Omega League and also like Mad Moon and all the wonderful tournaments that they can do with a tournament setting that without live audience and still make it fun. So I think that's really important. It's not sometimes it's not that easy to keep the hype, keep the spectacles and all that without the audience. But they've proved even the time and time again they can do that. So yeah. Sorry, Jared, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I think first and foremost on the WePlay side of things, if you look at their Twitter account for the last few days, they've just been posting things about the safety precautions that they have in place, like all the staff that will be in contact with players and teams have been tested and they've all been negative. A separate restaurant, I think, that they have for players where they can have their meals and stuff, things like that. That's like even before the actual production of the major, and they're just doing all of this. And this is a major without an audience, and this is just for the teams and players and everyone behind the scenes, basically. And it's huge that they're doing that, especially, we have been in COVID times for almost like 2 years now, but the fact that they're still doing all of this is massive. And I think it stands to reason that their production is just going to be through the roof as WePlay generally has been always, especially with an anime theme.
Their entire focus is about storytelling and about pulling in the viewer experience, regardless of if it's in person or not. And I think they've proven over and over and over again, without a doubt, that they're capable of that.
Yeah, I think that we can definitely expect a lot more content in comparison to Singapore Major, where like literally not much, and of course, much better set design. We won't be able to see like just a green screen with some random birds flying. Yeah. Sorry, I had to bring it up, but yeah, I wasn't a big fan of the production value.
You didn't like
Yeah.
the Courier Express coming through?
No, it was a little bit difficult to watch because there was too much going on screen. Like you have like a little bit of the Singapore back in the background, then you have like things moving here and there, blinking lights, and they're not focusing on the camera. Yeah, it was difficult. Yeah. So I do have really high expectations from WePlay in regards to the broadcasting side of things and the ARR and all that. So yeah, I'm diff. Yep, you wanted to add?
Well, I just wanted to point out that this being AniMajor and Dota receiving an animated series earlier this year, I'm talking about Dota Dragon's Blood. I'm just curious if we're gonna get some updates on book 2 during this major, or if they do any crossovers with the AniMajor, with the animated series on Netflix. Yeah, that's one thing that I want to see if it happens, and I would be very happy to see it happen. And in terms of production, it's almost like, I mean, WePlay took a big lead with this AR production and stage setup when they entered the Dota 2 scene, and all the other tournament organizer had to scramble to catch up with them. That's why perhaps the Singapore Major wasn't there yet, wasn't ready yet to match WePlay's production, and everyone was expecting seeing what WePlay done even for an online league during the COVID times, the Omega League, what they did with Mad Moon, which was a third-party tournament, no implication with TI, and yet was looking better than 99% of the other events, So yeah, they raised the bar very high, WePlay, and it will be interesting to see if they can match their own, setup right now.
I want to see the trophy. I want to see what they pull off with the trophy.
Yes. What would it be? What would you guys think? I just hope there's not gonna be a belt. No offense, but
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of the belt. But yeah, what do you guys think it would be? Yeah.
I think a sword
Not
would
even
be
just
most
not a
appropriate.
fan.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
A sword would definitely be most appropriate, I think. Like a massive anime-looking sword.
Like a Buster sword or some sort.
Oh, I mean, if it's a Buster sword, I will literally fly out there and then steal it before the tournament even begins. It would be nice to see something massive again.
Yeah.
Well, we've had, was it the MVP that got the Thanatos gauntlet, the Infinity Gauntlet? What was that? What tournament was that?
It was Epicenter, and FY got the gauntlet.
Yeah.
No, I was going to say anything
funny.
is better than the belt, and especially when you have to hold it up like in front of nobody. That's just awkward.
True too, yeah.
Diff, how about you? Do you want to see any? I mean, sort of trophy? Yeah.
Well, I want the trophy, no matter how how matter anime related is this major. I want the trophy to be actually related to the game, to the Dota 2. Be it a sword, be it a vanguard, be it whatever item you want from the game, a staff, an observer word, whatever, but make it related to the game and not something that's completely outside of the esports world, like that has, hey, I have this belt, or hey, I have this cup that I can't, or hat that I can't really remember where is it from, I just wanted to make it Dota.
Yeah, I think that's really important. To link it back to Dota, right? Yeah, not just anything random. All right. With that said, I think we are done for today. We're done for our first episode of Unmuted by GosuGamers. So if you like the show, if you like what we are doing, if you have any feedback or suggestions or anything at all, please comment. Please leave your comment down in the comment section and let us know. Like, share, all that stuff. Yeah. So thank you all, and we will see you guys again.